Yeah.
But it's really sometimes there's like 30 people in the same room. Nobody has it. You need a lot of green. You gotta yell it. That's where we and some going through our heads, some red, but it's the balance of them, that makes you elevate. Things that sitting in available are. I don't know. It's not as close as like Carrie.
Okay, so John, this has to. We're all over there. This is a dead ringer. So it has to be your daughter.
This is my daughter, Gabrielle.
Hi, Gabe. Oh, Gabe. Nice to meet you. I'm Debbie. I'm sorry. You look so much like Carrie. It was really, I looked really do. So you recently got married, or a year and a half ago. That's your wife. And don't tell me. I'm going to try to remember that. I'm sorry. Charlie. That's my husband's name. You think I would know that? Congratulations.
I was very
I'm so excited. You were probably excited too. I'm Robin. David, so nice to meet you.
And it's so wonderful to see you after all these years.
Well, my husband now is Conrad.
You're such a precious thing because you're the last brother.
I am the last brother.
Wait, I have to
Yeah.
John. Oh,
Well, I don't know that I was beautiful. I was definitely
I
awkward.
wouldn't stay anywhere else.
you were wonderful. I loved you. I loved you. Because I was older sister status and just loved who you were. So I assume I love you right now.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, John. But I just want to look at you and go.
It was good, and be west with everybody was like family, You
Oh,
guys,
man.
and just
I
everybody.
totally felt, and I was older, so you probably didn't, you were busy being a boy, so I don't think you, like,
Oh, no.
did on in on us, but we were right there as big
We were all
sisters,
together.
valuing you. Yeah, oh my gosh, your daughter used to get out Carrie. She was so Charlie and
So are you working?
how will you know? Oh God, you're old timers. You had your first knockdown drag out since the ceremony? Okay. A big fat fight.
We're both crazy enough that they don't notice the other person's crazy,
Got it. That's okay. And who are you?
This is my other daughter, Taylor.
Hi, Taylor. I'm Robin.
And this is my wife, Amanda.
Amanda, it's so nice to meet you. I am another big sister. My Amanda Phelps is so nice. I'm Robin, and I live 2 doors away.
Childhood friend. Yes, I remember the name. So, just 2 doors down in Phelps.
Like one cul-de-sac over, so it's so you get to the levels and
I grew up and I know, but I don't
His father. I came into the family.
So can I have your attention?
Never left. Church used to stick us in the back of the Carmen Dia. I was
Oh, Carmen Dia.
Yeah, and Carrie would take me walk with them and everything. Oh my gosh. Listening to it. Paul Harvey.
That sounds like something you listen to.
Yeah.
Hello, can I have your attention, please? Just a quick little welcome. I wanted to say thank you to all of you for coming and being such a great support system for the family and friends. And we all know and love Carrie. She's a multi-layered woman, and there's so many representatives from all those layers, and we so thankful to see all of you. I am her brother-in-law. I belong to Jenny, and it's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you to Linda and Tony for offering up your house and allowing us all to be here and honoring such a beautiful woman. So thank you so much. A couple of things. We're going to have remarks from family and friends, and thank you for that. This is being live streamed also, and I wanted to say, oh, I'm going to cry. I'm sorry. Her sister Sam is not here for various reasons, and we love her dearly, and we feel her presence. So, and it's so nice to have her son Bridger here. And just wanted to say really a special thank you to all of you. And bathrooms are through this side door. Help yourself to that. There's going to be some food afterwards. And remember, for any speakers, speak slow, speak loud, so everyone can hear online though as well. So I think Katie, her sister Katie, will start with some remarks first. Thank you, Katie.
I just want to remind everyone, if you would make sure your phones are off, you can turn down. Thanks. Carrie's first husband, Shig, had remained friends with Carrie for, has remained friends, and he sent a message that he was hoping that we would convey. He said, "Please convey my deepest condolences to the people who joined the ceremony." He's Japanese. He lives in Japan. He said, "I'm not sure why the ceremony will be held on March 20th, but it means a lot to me. The week surrounding March 21st, the vernal equinox day, is called Hiken in Japan. It means the world of enlightenment in Buddhism. It is believed that people will be able to go to the land of perfect bliss by holding memorial services for their ancestors during Hiken, and the spirits of the dead can cross the river that separates this world and their world during Hiken. It's very much like Dia de los Muertos in Mexico. Anyway, it's a very important week for Japanese people, whether we are Buddhist or not. Thank you again for holding this ceremony for Carrie." That's from Shig.
Thank you, Katie. When I read that, I really sat and thought, and like Carrie would cross the river and be here with us today. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my big sister. Well, first, I want to thank you all for being here today and celebrating Carrie's life with us. You know, even though she is my sister, there are so many things that I don't know about her. And all of you are here to offer your stories of professional life and friendship and ways that you knew her in ways that we never really could. And so we welcome that to kind of complete Carrie's story in our own minds and hearts. So I look forward to talking with you afterwards, and maybe you could plan a little story for someone in our family to hear that we might not already know. Carrie was the firstborn and the light of our parents' eyes. They started their family in the Pacific Palisades in a small pink house on a hill surrounded by oak trees and eucalyptus trees. Carrie was precocious and charming and smart and beautiful, just the perfect little girl. And she had my parents all to herself for a little while, a very little while. She was followed by two boys, Georgie and Chris, and then came myself and my brother John. So all of us lived in a tiny little house in the Palisades. And I would like to say that Carrie loved helping with her siblings, I don't know if that's true, but we wrote it here. Carrie developed a special bond with Georgie. He was the second one born right after her, and they were very close in age. Georgie developed leukemia at a very early age, at 5 years old, and went through that a fairly quick illness, and he passed away. So Carrie at that time was about 6, and at that time in history, parents really didn't address those kinds of things. They felt like it was better to not talk about it, to not acknowledge it. They thought they were protecting their children by not talking about dying and death. So what happened was they just went right back to normal life. And now we know you really can't do that and not cause some sort of harm in other children in the household. It wasn't until Carrie was an adult that she opened up to us about her experience in dealing with Georgie's death. It was 19, so that was about in 1963. But Carrie carried this loss and pain throughout her life. It never went away. And we think it was likely a strong reason why she decided to study what she did, mental health, to help people, and why she was able to recognize pain, suffering, any kind of distress in others, and why she was able to reach out to them and help them and be there for them. In 1966, our family moved to Malibu. Carrie was 9 years old, and the family eventually grew to 6 children because Katie and Sam were born. Hi, Sam. By the way, I forgot to mention, like Bill did, how much we love and miss Sam, that she couldn't be here, and I just wanted to let her know she's here. You're here, Sam. Carrie and I shared a room. When you walked through the door, the far wall had 2 captain's beds, and they were a soft green. They had cupboards you could crawl into and built-in drawers, and they were set so the feet of the beds touched. At night, we would, well, let me back up a little bit. Speaking of touching, our family was very touchy. If it was laid out, it was scratched. If a head was put on a lap, it was rubbed. There was a back nudged up, somebody would scratch it. We were just a tickly, scratchy family, and that was just what we did. So Carrie and I had our own way of doing that. At night, we would scrunch down to the ends of our beds where our legs would just kind of cross over and touch where we could actually get a good reach. And we would scratch each other's feet and talk. Now, of course, sometimes we would scratch simultaneously. Other times we'd take turns being first and last so you could kind of, relaxed and not have to work. We were also very careful about how evenly this was done because you needed, we're all in this for the scratch. So we needed to make sure the pressure was the same square inches were covered, nails or no nails, time it right, down to the second. And I love that memory. And in fact, I was able to rub and scratch Carrie's feet for her as well at the end of her life. And that was just a wonderful connection we had. Anyway, that room was a little haven. We had a sliding glass door that looked out to a balcony. And when the Santa Ana winds would blow, the sycamore trees would rub on the roof and we'd feel so cozy, or the Christmas lights would show in from the railing on the balcony, and it just felt like all was well. And I love thinking about that. the last thing I want to talk about as far as little kids go is, and bedrooms and scratching and all that stuff. The final piece to that is called looking over your top. When Carrie was a little child, very, very young, I don't remember how the phrase was coined, but we all asked to, Mom, will you look over my top? Dad, will you look over my top? And what that means is that they would come in and rub our heads at the end of the day and when we were in bed. And it started out saying, Jenny had such, I'll say Carrie. Carrie had such a busy day today. She went to the park. She played with Robin and Debbie and Mickey. She went to the beach. She read her books. And now it's time for bed. Good night, little Carrie Pie. And you get a kiss on the forehead or the cheek or the lips. And that happened every night to all 6 children. And that was an invention of Carrie's. And now, of course, my kids, who are now kind of crying, recognize that, and Katie's kids, and it's going to live through generations. And it started with Carrie, and it's an important part of our family lore. And well, let's get on to when Carrie was a teenager. As a teen, Carrie was surrounded by the 60s culture. Women's lib, freedom of expression. By this time, she had her own room, originally intended as a den, but made into a bedroom for teenage needs privacy. But it also had a little door that led into a guest bathroom. And so the bathroom could be accessed from both directions. Well, Carrie was pretty typical, and most of the floor she owned, instead of being in drawers, usually ended up on the floor. And that kind of trail many times trickled into the bathroom. So the guest bathroom was constantly had clothing on the floor. And my mom had just reached her limit one day. And whenever you hear this, Carolyn, Amanda, Phelps, come in here right now. You know there's trouble. So Carrie came in and she said, that's it. This is what's going to happen here. The next time I find any of your clothing, I don't care what it is, on the floor, I am going to take it, I'm going to throw it in the trash, and you will never see it again. So the next morning, my mom opened the door in the bathroom, and what did she find? Every single one of Carrie's bras laying on the bathroom floor. That was Carrie. Carrie decided to take a different path than my parents were hoping when she left home to go away to school. The strength of character, independence, and determination it took to follow her own path were the building blocks of who she ultimately would become and the life that she would create for herself. As her sibling, this is where things get murky for me. She was 4 years older, and the gap was felt more acutely between the ages of 14 and 18 than it was when we were young. She married Shig and moved to Tokyo and became more of a mysterious, exotic woman across the globe than my sister. It wasn't until she returned to the States and graduate school that our family was able to reconnect and spend more time together as adults. We got to know her all over again with more frequent visits, more maturity on all of our parts, and a desire to strengthen our bonds. It was around this time that we first met. Her handsome and dashing, well, I said Bosnian babe, but I was corrected. So then I tried Serbian sweetheart, but then I had to go to Yugoslavian youngster, because we know that Misha is 4 years younger than Carrie. She's 6 years younger. See what I mean? Carrie and Misha built a wonderful life together, and it was so intriguing and inspiring to witness their own private communication of witty quips, inside jokes, personal ringtones like a oinky pig, a snake, sinister music, and their one-liners. Misha, where are you?
Over there.
We love you. Carrie made it a point to come to Utah for leisurely summer visits, many times planned around John and Amanda's awesome crawfish boils. Uh, just 5 months ago, Carrie was visiting. It was a hot summer day, so Carrie and Bill and I decided to go to the pool. First, Carrie and I conducted our very own water aerobics class to the music from a real class across the way. Laughing at our post-menopausal freedom from caring what anyone else thinks, we twirled and jumped to the music, laughing, and afterward we sat by the pool in our wide-brimmed hats with our books. We felt the warm summer breeze, and we just enjoyed each other's company. And that's really how it was with Carrie. You did not have to be doing anything special. You just needed to be together for it to be wonderful. 4 years ago, our mother died. Carrie, Katie, Sam, and I began communicating via an app called Marco Polo. It was too much for John because there was a lot of makeup, a lot of hair, a lot of thrift talking. But we ended up, and if you're not familiar with Marco Polo, that is where you record it. What?
Talk.
We talk. We talk to each other a lot. But what that did was that it brought us all closer together. And for the past 4 years, we have been a part of each other's daily lives in very, very good ways. Our polos all began with "Hi, sisters." My friend overheard it once, and she's like, "That sounds really weird, like you're part of a polygamous group or something." I thought about it, but decided, no, it was perfect. Because what is better than sisters? These last few years, we were able to be part of each other's lives. Carrie became our biggest fan, our biggest supporter, our shoulder to cry on or to lean on. And in fact, she kind of became our surrogate mom. And we're going to miss that so much. Our loss is immense, and the thought of living without Carrie is unimaginable. The only thing that makes sense to me now with this reality is to take the things that Carrie did and the person she was, really take note and try to emulate that. Continue to learn and grow, be kind, smile, and make an earnest effort. And that way I feel like that brings me closer to Carrie. So I love Carrie so much, and I will miss her. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. I'm sorry, Sam, that you can't be, but we're thinking of you. We love you. I just wrote down a couple notes. I knew that Jenny was going to talk a lot about Carrie's life. And I did want to make sure you understood one thing about the scratching. My dad was really bad at it. And I think that was a global truth. He had no nails, so it was just finger rubbing. It was just not the same. So just people, the kids would kind of gravitate towards the girls that had the nails in church to get their backs. Anyway. There's a thing that parents said, at least we said it. I don't know if you all agree with it, but kids, when you have kids, it's like making waffles. You always throw out the first one. See, some people get it, but I got to tell you, for a first waffle, Carrie was she was pretty amazing. She was probably the best waffle among us out of the whole batch. Yeah, she was the best of us. And that's pretty difficult to say
because things that are true like that tend to catch in your throat. I want to thank her for turning me on to Dr. Demento and Tom Lehrer. And I think one of her first crushes was Clark Gable. And if you look at Misha, you'll see there is just no resemblance whatsoever. But I know that she loved him dearly. She was very, very happy. She was truly a trailblazer. She had to be, because being the first waffle, she had to break in our parents for us. And she did things the way she needed to do them, not the way people told her they needed to be done. And people learned from her that sometimes the way things needed to be is not the way people are expecting. And from going off to college in San Jose, to moving to Japan, to coming back, I think it completely baffled my parents, all those decisions. But every single one of those decisions just made her such a better person, better than I could have possibly imagined. She had a very strong personality as far as her opinions go. And the beauty was, it was okay if you disagreed with her. It really was. She was completely fine with everybody around her being wrong. Yeah. She was patient and kind and brilliant, and all the things that the kids want to be. And she achieved those things. And I want to thank her for that. I want to thank her for being the absolute best waffle a person could be. So, thank you.
Hi, I'm Gabrielle. I'm one of Carrie's nieces. I just want to say I feel really lucky to be here surrounded by people that loved her that she loved. And I have 4 really amazing aunts on my paternal side of the family that I learn a lot of amazing things from, that I really get to look up to in their own special ways. And Carrie had a way of making everyone feel accepted and undoubtedly like they belonged. So this is an article called "Exceedingly Kind and So Generous. California Faculty Association Remembers Carrie Sakai." And my cousin Amanda and I are going to take turns reading excerpts from it. Sakai served on the San Diego State University Senate CFA San Diego Executive Board, CFA Counselors Committee, and on the CFA bargaining team. Sakai was a tireless advocate for counselors and the mental health needs for students. Friends, family, and colleagues remember her as a warm and positive person who tried to bring out the best in people. Carrie was exceedingly kind and so generous with her time. She was always willing to consult with and assist her fellow counselors, which reflected her commitment to student mental health. It will take a long time to process that she's no longer with us. Carrie, we miss your warm smile and send love to your friends and family. Sakai attended San Jose State and then moved to Japan for 17 years, where she volunteered at a suicide hotline center. At the onset of the HIV/AIDS epidemic, Sakai established Japan's first hotline for people recently diagnosed with HIV to lend support and assistance. And that's something that, that's a story that she shared with me back in August that I feel really lucky to have heard. Completed her undergraduate degree at San Francisco State, earned a PhD in psychology, and spent 16 years as a counselor and psychologist at San Diego State University. Sakai also served on the CFA bargaining team, where she worked to ensure that faculty had the resources to do the best possible work for their students. And one more quote. What I will always remember about Carrie Sakai, and I will keep in my heart, is her compassion and the deep understanding of humans that she brought to her work. Carrie understood that issues are not just issues, they surround, shape, help, or impede our living and lived experiences. Carrie helped us all not only to love, but to express it to one another.
Hi everyone, thank you for being here. I'm Amanda, another one of Carrie's nieces. When Manuel Rivera became San Diego State Counselor in 2011, Sakai provided mentorship and support as he grew into his role. Carrie Sakai was a beloved friend, valued colleague, and effective advocate for various causes, Rivera said. I had the opportunity of working with her on SDSU's Safe Zones trainings, our supplemental instruction program, and our center's clinical training program. It was also through Carrie that I became involved in our campus CFA chapter, along with many of my colleagues at the center. Carrie was the rare person who balanced clear-eyed realism with hope for a better future and effective action. While at San Diego State, Carrie Sakai developed a curriculum for at-risk students and was instrumental in connecting the campus mental health referral database with community agencies. She was very involved in the training and orientation of counseling and psychology department interns, particularly in the area of gender identity development. Her tireless service was again recognized in 2020 when San Diego State created the Caliph and Sakai Faculty Scholar Appointment at the university's Pride Center. I first met Carrie at a CFA Equity conference during a counselors committee meeting. It was evident early on that Carrie had a passion for the work that we do in supporting students, but equally dedicated to the fair and equitable working rights for counselor faculty across the CSU system, remembered J. Robertson Howell. I feel so honored to have been able to work with Carrie on the counselors committee and to get to know her on a personal level in the short time that we worked together. She was an incredible person and her presence will be missed. And I just want to share one moment that I have with Carrie with you guys. One time, Carrie and I were walking back to my house after a little thrifting excursion. We were waiting for the walking signal when this trendy late teens or early 20s girl stopped us and said to Carrie, "I love your, well, everything. You're just cool." That's the thing about Carrie that no one can dispute. She was just so cool. You may first notice the unique earrings and colorful kimonos, but then she tells you a piece of advice, recipe idea, unique kitchen tool recommendation, or her latest passion. It doesn't take long to realize that she has this bottomless well of intense, natural coolness inside of her. We are all so incredibly lucky to have experienced Carrie's impeccable taste, endless knowledge, and wise worldview, and we are all just a little bit cooler because of her. Thank you so much.
I'm Robin Hammond, and Sam, you are here with us, and Mickey, you're here with us too. I'm so grateful that I'm one of the characters in the chapters of Carrie's book. I'm one of an early fellowship of girls who began our story. Debbie's here, Mickey's here, Carrie's spirit is with us, and Janet is here too. Carrie, as her own author, wrote courageously, with style and with a flair punctuated with dancing and that ironic smile. My profound experience of our time together is shaped by her willingness to philosophize, to question, and to wonder. Carrie was novel. Her specialness to me came in chapters we wrote together on truth versus dogma, dignity versus control, and love versus possession. We lived the experiences that taught us the reality of our surmises because Carrie taught me to be brave. There were times when we had separate lives, she in Japan and I in Singapore. Yet our separate work was intermingled with what we had vowed as friends. Listen inwardly, ask others to listen as well. I have noticed Carrie magnify her listening in her counseling. I once asked her, why did you choose the area of counseling specialty that you did? She answered, because Robin, I know what it is to be an outsider. She listened. It was Carrie who put the book, The Lord of the Rings, into my hands, the book of heroes. The tale became a grand metaphor to see life's challenges. Carrie is my hero, whose journey has encouraged and shaped my own growth. Dearest Carrie, your book of life is in our hands now. We will cherish it, and I will open and reread parts anytime I need a bit of your courage. Thank you for living. And thank you for sharing your living with me, for inviting me into your pages. We have gone together there and back again, and I have and will always love you. I add these words from Mickey McGee, the dearest friend to Carrie. She writes, has anyone been as lucky as I was, as we all were, to have known such a person?
Let's see how this goes. Hi. I have to look around because I know I love you all, because you all loved Carrie. Shig, thank you for reminding me that when I am standing on the side of the river and you all are waving goodbye to me, that Carrie's going to be waiting on the other shore, welcoming me. I thank you for that. Sam, Mickey. So yeah, my name's Debbie, Richard then, Conrad now, but I met Carrie as elementary school in the Pacific Palisades at the end of the 2nd grade. My family had moved from Canada, Quebec, and I was a fish out of water. Carrie and I instantly became friends, which you probably all can imagine. We spent a lot of time together with Mrs. Rottenberg listening to folk music. We walked to and from school, I guess mostly from, but she introduced me to Pronto Market. And a short year later, my family moved. We had moved to Malibu West. I lost track of Carrie altogether. But enter Robin. Became fast friends with Robin. And maybe a year after that, I suppose, Robin started telling me about this wonderful friend of hers, best friend from church, Carrie. She's going to be moving here soon. You guys are going to love each other. This is going to be great. The 3 of us will be friends. So Robin was talking up Carrie. I had no idea. I assumed she was talking me up, although I could be wrong. I will never forget the morning on the school playground when Robin's like, here she comes. And the teacher's bringing Carrie out. And if you could imagine the Malibu cinematic moment when I realized that Robin's Carrie was my Carrie. That was the start of, I just call it an ancient friendship. An ancient friendship. So I didn't really come here today to share stories. I didn't come here to try to make sense of this. I didn't come here for closure. None of that is going to fix any of this. There's no fixing the pain of grief. But I came here, I work in the field of grief. So Carrie and I shared some professional bits. But I came here because I believe in speaking the names of those we love over and over and over again, every day, proud, loud. They are here. They will stay with us. We need to speak of them and carry them with us. Grief is not something you get over. Grief is something that stays with you. But you move forward and you learn how to carry that forward. Sorry. And as I've said to many people, including Robin, about 10 times in the last few hours, keep calm and carry forward. I want to cherish the memories I have with Carrie. I want to laugh. I want to cry. I want to talk to her every damn day. And I will listen for her talking back to me. And I will go forward. I'm going to speak her name every chance I get. And before I leave you, I want to share just a few things that I know. Carrie was regal and kind and thoughtful, always. In my recollection, we never had an argument, not in 57 years. I could be wrong, but I don't really recall. Carrie had the best smile. She could laugh like nobody's business. She was a champion of people and beings and fairness. And she had this magic relationship with time. It seemed like no matter what was going on, she always had time for you. She was always there. She treasured you. She saw you. She had a way of making you feel so important, no matter what was happening in her world or on her time clock. Carrie could light up a room. She was all in. She lived her life out loud, and I love her so much. She is important in my life beyond words, and I am going to speak her name every chance I get.
Sorry about the hat, but if Carrie were here, she would slap the glasses off my face for not wearing sunscreen. So, we all know that. I went to college, San Jose State, with Carrie. And in November, I was in San Luis Obispo, the closest I've been to San Diego for a while. And as I was leaving there, I had to text Carrie to tell her about the dream that I'd had. Not the first, not the last time, but we were in an acting class together. And she responded to me as she had in front of the whole class, as she had never responded in rehearsal. And I just started laughing my butt off. It was so funny. The class wasn't laughing, but it just struck me as so funny. Whenever I have that dream, I wake up laughing. So I texted her, "Hey, little sister," because that's and I said I had the dream, and I'm close to you. I'm getting in a car. Let's talk. Let's have a chat. And she responded, "Hey, big brother, I have some news." And I think many of you know she didn't really feel like talking, so we didn't. But in 1980, we think it was, Deb, right? I knew Shig. She had married Shig. She'd gone to Japan, and she'd said, "Oh, come and stay." Well, careful, because I will. And so I remember it was the day after a big Halloween party at my house, and Carrie used to come to those parties all the time. Remember, because I think I still had the Eddie Munster Widow's Peak painted on my forehead when I got on the plane. And I went to stay with her in Shig in Japan, and met another friend who I believe is on Zoom today. We called her by a different name, but she goes by Kat now. So Kat, I'm here for you too. And we would go out dancing in Roppongi and Harajuku and all these crazy places. But we also went and visited, with Shig, shrines and temples. And I'm so glad that Shig sent something, because I knew they always were linked. And when I got back from Japan, I met a boy. We fell in love. And he was diagnosed with this new disease. And there weren't a lot of treatments back then in the US. But Carrie used whatever connections she had, along with consulting with his doctors, and she started shipping, probably illegally, but she started shipping drugs that were available over there that weren't available in the US. And when he passed, she was my partner in grief. Years later, I met my current husband. We've been together for 25 years. Lived in San Francisco, knew her when she came back. And Carrie taught me, we were learning how to be adults. She got married at a young age, but we were just learning how to stop thinking of ourselves as children. And Carrie taught me some really important things. She taught me how to make miso soup from scratch and how to make yakisoba. But she also taught me how important it is to make coffee starting with cold water. And also that if there was silverware missing at the end of a dinner party, not to stand at the front door and pat your guests down, because it was probably in the garbage. I never knew that they got scraped off of the plates into the garbage. How did I not know that? I don't know how I'm going to live without her. So, silly stuff like that. And that really enrich and deepen your life. And to have a friend like that. And when I had my own bout with cancer, she was the first little sister I called. So I guess going forward, I'll just wait for the dream, say hi to her, and it's clear how much love she had in this world and how much influence. I mean, it's ironic too that later in life she went into union work, and I left the theater after 30 years. I really had a job in theater, and I went to work for a labor union. So we're brother and sister, really. So, thanks.
I'm just going to read because I can't talk otherwise, because I don't like talking in front of people. I remember first meeting Carrie when I moved into the house next door. She came over and introduced herself, and she was so excited and said I was hoping it was a woman who moved here so I could have a new girlfriend, and we were fast friends right away. We had many things in common, and our conversations always flowed freely right from the start. She always looked well put together and had a sense of style that I was always envious of. She had a very calm demeanor and the kindest heart, and she's always been there for me.
Our friendship was always mutual, and we checked in on each other frequently. After a big breakup, she said, "I'll be right over," and she brought wine and chocolate while I cried. During the pandemic, when I had a difficult time working as a nurse, she always checked in and made sure I was okay. We had so many great times together, going to thrift stores, going out to breakfast, to the day spa, to Mexico, and having game nights. And the relationship she had with Misha was so special. He's also a close friend of mine, and we've been long-time hiking buddies. I remember when we went on a camping trip to Colorado and Utah, and Carrie sat with me in the natural hot springs, and we just talked away. There was never a lack of conversation with us, and I confided in her about everything. It made me happy when I was able to give to her a stray dog I found and could not keep. Izzy has since been her beloved pet and has given her much joy throughout the years. Carrie told me she had cancer on November 17th, and she was gone on December 28th. 6 weeks later, we lost her way too fast. I was fortunate enough to spend her last days with her, surrounded by her amazing family. She was smart, beautiful, and fun. I will miss her so much, and I wish I could talk to her just one more time. Rest in peace, Carrie.
Thank you all for being here, and thank you for all the love and support you've given Carrie and me over the years. We're fortunate to have such good friends. I'm going to try to get through the rest of this without falling apart, but no guarantees. So as some of you know, Carrie and I met the old-fashioned way, in a bar. It was a dive on Mission Street in San Francisco called El Rio, where I often went salsa dancing on Sunday afternoons. One such afternoon in June, this striking-looking woman strode into the back patio of El Rio. She had a radiant smile and nice legs, and she knew her way around the dance floor. And so, even though she seemed way out of my league, 27 years ago, I asked a girl to dance. The friends who knew us back then could scarcely have imagined what that first dance would lead to. Few of you are here today, and you can confirm or deny this later. Even after all these years, Carrie and I could hardly believe it ourselves. Whenever we talked about how long we'd been together, we'd look at each other and ask, how the hell did that happen? And then we'd break out laughing. From the start, we were very different, independent people with seemingly few shared interests. And salsa dancing alone didn't seem like enough to sustain a long-term relationship. And yet, after a bumpy start, and for reasons I still don't fully understand, it just worked. And it didn't even take much work. Maybe it was because beneath our superficial differences, our underlying personality traits or values were fundamentally compatible. Or maybe we just had the patience and tolerance to allow ourselves the time to grow into each other. It could even be that the ease with which we danced that Sunday afternoon, without awkwardness or missteps, was a hint, after all, of the relationship to come. Whatever it was, the past 27 years with Carrie made me a better person in more ways than I can express. Her strength, intelligence, and sharp wit always challenged me to keep up. Her generosity, kindness, and acceptance of my shortcomings helped make me a more tolerant and open person. Carrie was the best friend I ever had. and the person I most trusted in this world. I'm forever grateful for the time we had together, even as I wish it could have been more, even as I mourn the years that might have been. She was taken from us all far too soon. And at least to me, the world seems a darker place without the light of that smile I first saw in the dive bar in the Mission on a long ago afternoon in June. Thank you. That's it, isn't it? We're going to move into the less formal part of the program. And I'd encourage everyone to go get something to eat and drink, and then gather, mingle, share stories and memories of Carrie. That's what I've actually found to be the most comforting, since me anyway, since she died, is to hear other people's stories of Carrie. I mean, we all knew different versions of her, different moments in her life. And so let's help fill out that picture for each other. Okay.
I'm going to leave this running, flip it around, and let people say hi.
Yeah.
Hug everybody. My house car, right? Oh no. Carrie was so excited.
We're really happy she was there.
Okay, Amanda. Okay, got it. I'm gonna try.
I love what you said.
She made us so She did. I look around and I think when I was first talking to people about service, and then I wrote all new, different Carrie.
Okay, so that's.
I mean, Carrie was Robin's best friend. Carrie was Peggy's best friend.
Carrie's the subject matter. It's hard to go wrong.
Everything I would have wanted. I know it.
You gotta come out and stay.
I know.
We're all here now.
I know.
My parents have that extra memory. They really do.
I know.
Desmond Tutu and Dolly Mom and Carrie's special relationship, but I was reading about two ancient philosophers, and they were saying, we only got together in life. And that they wouldn't get up to Dolly Mom and Desmond Tutu.
Oh, I've lost weight now.
Yes, indeed.
This is the last one I think I did. Banana.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I haven't done Carrie's yet.
Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, but I haven't been really excited about it. That's why I haven't done it.
Yeah.
I want to, Yeah. Okay, so her email address was Dr.
Why would you? Yeah, that's
And
yeah.
I was like,
You were like, why would you?
I don't know what that's
I get
email
blocked.
address.
Thank you, Sandy and George, for naming
She
our
wanted
character. Guess what?
that was her original. And when she got her doctorate, she changed it to Dr. Fluid. Okay? And I could never figure out what that was. And it turns out that the backstory was that she and Misha were having one of their discussions. And Carrie said to Misha, Misha said to Carrie, I think it was Carrie said to Misha, you lied. And Misha's like, you lie. She goes, no, you lie like a dog. He goes, well, you lie like a dog on the rug. You lie like a dog on the floor. So from then on, it was floor dog. Man, you're the biggest damn liar. But she couldn't make her email floor dog because that would be weird. Because, you know, it just, but so she called it floor dog to soften the name and make it a little more socially acceptable. So
wait, how do you spell it?
Fleur.
Like floor, like flower.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah. So I was gonna get a tattoo of like Snoopy lying on the floor with Woodstock on his belly or something like that, and have Dr. Fleur Dog on the floor, have Lucy's psychiatrist thing with Snoopy on the ground and say the doctor is in, you know, something like that.
I'm glad I didn't show it.
I just haven't like.
I think it's there.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel you. Yeah. I like it a lot though. I think it's like I love that lane.
I think I'm onto something.
I think so too. I think just Dr. Fleur Dog is cool in itself. Just having that's pretty rad. I think that's pretty because that's like you're right. It doesn't seem like silly. Because it's like the way that she spelled it, you know what I mean? But it's mysterious. I really like that.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. And then something.
Oh, sorry, I was just standing in everyone's way.
There's still 10 people. So hi, Mickey. And who else? Sam was on, Mickey was on. I know there was a couple people more. I didn't send out the list. Misha sent out the list, so I don't know who's on.
That's great.
Thanks, Mark.
So I was just like,
I'd like to see them all somewhere there in the yard. Yes. You might want to check with Jenny because she's the one that's, I don't know how many trees you are. I know she.
I was wondering if the Chelsea bar was going to come in. Because whenever I think of you, that's the first thing that I think of. So
Do you guys?
Well, we can never remember how long we've been together.
oh my God.
We knew we met in June.
That same night.
No signal. Yeah, then I called her a few days later and asked her to go to fireworks. I was always there for so we knew that it was live, but we never remembered.
When did you get the rocket?
97. Well, they told me that in
Oh, finished with
yeah. And then we came down because they flew both of us down to Naples.
Really?
There's a way that avoids. Yeah, and you know, we never, I guess we never met her. We tried to get out where it was. I mean, I thought it was there. They had the big view. One was and she wouldn't, you know, I look back, she wouldn't be yet at San But anyway, I was going through the boxes and stuff with that, and like that country part. I remember I did. They experienced her face. 2 or 3 months after we met.
I know.
Backtrack. Yeah, the archive is just colonial fiction.
Anyway, so then I can look back at my calendar and figure out the last Sunday in June.
Oh. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to say
in San Diego. So his theory is Misha, I'll stay in touch. I'd like to get together sometime. Take care.
I rallied a few of us. Gabe ran back to her house.
All right, well, release the other three show up. Let's try to get it here. We've got some party food. Absolutely. The documents must be met.
They have to be met.
Yes.
When you were walking, I was like,
I wasn't sure. He's like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. I just think it's a while.
yeah, we used to go to that one.
Victoria's State.
I go to the beach with them mostly because we have big dogs. So, I'm surprised. Yeah, we go down there to be doing that. In the winter, I go to OB, and in the summer, I go to PF. Just to stay away from it.
It's wonderful.
Much faster than the other. So, and we do lots of
Take
room.
Right.
Yeah, they're about what? They're 50,000. Yeah.
Okay. You know Charlie from the number?
Take
pictures.
These are all
On Great Street, and he's done a great street. Over the years,
It should be recorded.
whenever we were out of town or whatever. Yeah, Great Street's a nice we get a lot of San Diego. We also work with each other, you know.
Actually, tactics the first time in a while. And Penny and Ren and none of them, everyone else still brings you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see you down there. I don't go to breakers often. I mean, I used to back in the day. I remember with the kids when I was now like 13 and 9 years old. Like, Danny had a craft on at the breakers. I parked everybody back when Brandy was still there. That was like the thing.
We've had the dogs for how long? 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that was just bigger than a strap on.
Right,
But
exactly.
yeah, we have frequented. We used to frequent there.
Are you in South Park?
Yeah.
You both is right, yeah.
Over that way. Okay, thanks for coming. I heard from a dad. I told her, you know, my mind probably had topics for class, but I don't think it's really interesting. Never mind that.
Nothing's still on. Is there people in there?
There were 15 on there.
Can they hear us? It's just we can't hear them. Hi, I'm Sam. Thanks for being here with us, guys. I don't know who's on there, but it's good to have you.
All right, short. Get back, get back, get back. Do them separately.
Can I join you here? That's so well done, John. You're so good.
I just wanted to say she was a good first waffle. She really was. I love that. I'm a square dancer, and she was square dancing the last couple of years.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And the words that described her were, we probably knew her the least, but, you know, like regal and cool. That's how she always looked out there, just cool as hell and regal.
Yeah,
So she was like, we have like a whole square dancers here. They showed up.
Oh, that's so
That's
cool.
nice.
I love it.
I told her sister, and I said, next time we start, you told her, you said you wanted to, we should emulate her life. The next square dancing.
I'm in. I mean, I visited with your caller also.
Andy,
Yeah, he encouraged. And
we'll have a class start
We need a class.
every month or so, and come down. It's like come down for 8 weeks.
I
and then
used to
you,
go
and there's
two-stepping
club.
all the time. I lived in Texas for 10 years. And
So if you went two-stepping, I go line dancing too with a couple of groups, but yeah, and then she caught on so quick. She had to have been a dancer before, and when he said about the salsa dance, they pick it up really quick, you know. But it's fun. It's social.
There's a camera right behind you.
I'm sorry, am I?
No. I just didn't want you to swing.
And I would have. I came close. But anyways, I just wanted to thank you. I'm glad I came, and to hear about the other parts of her.
My love. Your ride is coming.
Okay.
Bye. So nice to meet you. So
Another dance.
All right.
I gotta go. I'm gonna take one picture and I'll be right back.
it's true, John, the magnitude of the loss is immense. And I know the special connection you guys have together, because you fall into that really good stuff and all that offbeat humor. Public speaking is hard no, it's a really good point. Great thing. Yeah, absolutely. And you go early. Years old. That's right.
Sorry.
So it's not like you all just covered ourselves. It's
Funny. You know what I mean?
So fun to have you. So fun to have you. And the connection the cousins have with one another. It's amazing. Did you see yeah. Oh, it's so rich. That whole, first of all, the backyard space is just so awesome. 1968 or whatever. Reminded me so much of my first apartment in England. It's bigger than my first apartment in England. But had the same, just the little touches where it's the railings when it was years and the accents. It has so much charm. They are really
I thought about, I really wanted to say something, but I don't think I could. And you guys just did such a great job. No, I was just saying that I wanted to say something, but I think that everything that I had written down to say had been said a couple of times again and again, and that.
You were going to use the whole waffle thing too?
The waffle.
Yeah.
John had the waffle. He was original on that one. Just a very kind, wonderful person that taught me a lot and made every single person that she met feel special and worthy and important and like they had a purpose, and just helped a lot of people and will continue to help a lot of people. Just real amazing person. So everyone said that, and I'll say it again. Yeah, I did. Your hat. I've got some too.
Wait, share with me. What is
Oh, his hat.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that is. Oh,
Got squish pennies. And different things that he gave me. Good one. Anyway.
I didn't want Chris to not be able to.
Yeah. I know. I keep thinking about that too. That damn picture. So I'm just glad that they're, doing that somewhere and watching that. Not wrong. Neither is he. Different.
So Nana and Papa and Chris and Georgie and Carrie.
Oh no.
That's wild to think
I think Carrie getting to be with Dad is a big deal because I think that they had it. I wish I could have seen how that dynamic was like, but they just so reminded me like just mellow, easygoing, like just take the long road, be kind, don't sweat the small, just. And so I think that that's a good buddy to have up there. Like, Nan and Papa, of course, but Carrie and my dad. I think that they.
I hope they relax a little bit.
Oh.
Nana's blood pressure's coming down.
Yeah. I think that's terrible, but it's okay, you know. You're like, oh.
She's where she wants to be. She
Yeah.
wants to be a
Good job. Thank you, and thank you. You too.
Sort of X-ray way down to the room.
So, do you get the feeling that you
It was really funny when Carrie started getting involved because they had a it was funny that she got kicked out of all.
How hard it is to see a sister go. What's the chance? I mean, what percentage chance are you going to be in South Africa? I don't know. That's actually a very good question because my aunt, says no plans in the immediate future to put me back in the office because I'm so focused now. And all I would do in the office, because it's moving home, I just go remotely to I actually get a you can literally do what you prefer to some of this stuff. I'm really tired of some things. I mean, like, for instance, I don't use Canvas, but people are just so just pisses me off. Canvas. Right. People tell me. But it's the other side. I have to live differently. What middle state is out there? I mean, I have no idea. So I really can't miss
even today, like if I'm doing this,
you have that in John. I'm honestly oh, okay. Sure. Like that.
Just wondering. Oh, really? Okay, cool. Thanks for doing that. That's cool.
Make sure the link gets out.
I'm like, can you edit my part out where I'm like, absolutely. I just can't believe how great the weather turned out.
Oh, absolutely.
I know.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, there's obviously it's not there.
That was actually your mom. That was your mom. It was every single time. Every single time we made a mistake, your mom would say something like, you know, well, you always throw away the first one. But it was always like, I love it. I made it so true.
So, yeah, we represent all of
Yeah, we're always working. And they're mine.
You guys are busy and it's pandemic happening. And I think that it really caused people to choose it. Now they're in the habit of COVID now. Like inspiration to move outside of that. Even when I go to the marriage, everybody's just saying, and there won't be room service. Like we ordered room service, they just started and plastic bags to go set it outside the door and knocked, and he wouldn't come in. He just handed it, and she's like, I'm going to clean that steak and we need some food on a plate, give me some silverware, not just plastic things. And I feel like businesses are using COVID
It's like Broadway to us, it's just running the patients is kind of, and she always has all these iron suppliers.
Yeah, service everywhere. We're feeling it.
Oh, really?
I don't even understand I don't understand it because there were enough people 2 years ago. 2 years, you don't have a population of 10%, and 30 million people. Yeah.
So I think that's Washington there.
But what are they doing?
Because we were Americans.
I mean, if you're, and I know, you're kind of in administrative side, but could you do Dr. Marco?
Rod Stewart. I knew she did that. I remember her doing the suicide. And then she started the like and she worked in an English speaking community Tokyo players too.
Well, if you went to the office, there's not much interaction or anything. All of the meetings we have in the office are on Teams. When I'm sitting in the office, we have a meeting on Teams. It's just there's the only thing going into the office does is there are some people that can't do it. Conference calls. Send them Teams messages. Are they milking it or is it? They've always been questionable. I told these particular ones you just said you I mean, I totally get that. Yeah, there's going to be distractions. I get up at 3 or 4 in the morning. Down the office and make personal stuff. Like today's order, I smoked it today. Really? Yeah. And I do the other one too, that number.
I grew up with 3 brothers. My mom was always trying to.
I really not that bad because it's only addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Right? There's always an equal sign, and there's always a result. So the result is going to be 1, 2, or 3 because you only use for the equal result unless you have to work with you. So it really isn't. Like if you do 1 plus 2 plus 3 minus 4 equal 9, or whatever comes out. You can just bunch of it, and it's just like where you go to this one.
I wouldn't
There's only the means of
okay, well.
the result was but there were no other signs in the equation. And I'd already eliminated things like 7 minus 2. No, you can be like 23 minus whatever. It can be from X plus y equals Z, or it could be X y equals X minus Y equals Z. It's just, but it has to use those exact number of squares to help.
Yeah,
It's not hard. It's just, because once you start eliminating numbers, it's like, well, what else could possibly fit? It's like when people learn Although, well, I was hoping that
our best friends are professor of love. They one of the Carrie in our office interviews for people. And also the
one day we want you guys to we did on my birthday, but really,
oh, okay.
Even if it's thank you, that's a cheer. Tear it down a little bit. It's true. It is a great. It's a we were you and your
getting published online circulating accounts, and it's still an issue. But it's out now.
But there isn't really
The library should figure out what you're the next. The librarians, like, they have so many.
really what they want to do is pocket check.
Right.
I've been the same for years. It should be the life.
Chairs. Oh yeah. Yeah, my friends are like just one. That's not revolving. It's like you got stuck on someone put a double-sided tape on that. Nobody wants to do that. You have to do some firing. Well, you do. At a wedding in France.
No. Well, yeah, his sister's wedding.
The hard part, Taylor, is how do you
We'd already
you have no
met a
social
few days before that.
for me, really,
Friends the bride. They were all yeah, and then she
I know, it's just kind of and what those I'm on a team of three, and one of them is younger than she just needs human freedom. If you want to work at home, but she wants a separation between work, if you want to sanctuary at home,
I don't know why I didn't think
when I don't show up, it's hard. It's really hard.
The woman on that was the other the woman who was on the other woman on my side. All I did was had been a mom in here.
I had rockets and open cell up and say, oh, it's at the band.
We gotta go pick up the dough.
Thank you for your first release. This is such a wonderful
Tripod is the only thing, but if you're still using it, I never use it, so I'll get it.
I think I'm getting. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. There's still three people.
I just let it be. I literally never use it, so.
She wrote a few things and then she was like,
just lurking.
I think it's too fun. Oh yeah, and if you need anything,
force fans. And everybody just sat there. So, then he came to visit my summer and left a bunch of shoes. So I just yeah, he's had an amazing career in San Francisco. Very proud. Yeah.
Of the accent. Not talented, just
No.
I'm one of the San Diego State folks that all we're speaking to. So my name is Doug. So I work with Carrie there. I know that I remember this one you mentioned as well. But I don't know if you on the shop, so I work for him. Basically, I work for him. So he's in the, I just wanted to let you know that he's in the search group kind of sitting down there. I'll buy at some point. I just wanted to say a quick hello and say thank you for just mentioning it. The state folks who are there really appreciate it. You basically have to work with install, here's the budget, here is the wish, and that's it. Yeah. I have to go. Yeah, you have to go back and forth.
It is pretty funny.
Price of gas. All those flowers that come in.
Yeah, plus they're not.
I'm
less than half of the price. The flowers are much for everything. Cargo, so price and real price. Well, it's the price of wholesale is always the price of
Well, there's a table's got to go home with that.
Yeah.
I'm headed out. Thank you so much for coming. I want to get you some time very soon. Okay. All right. And do that again. Yeah, they don't want me in charge.
The trees on the Capitol Mall.
Sometimes it's odd. People don't understand. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it should be.
I mean, like Susan. I live in the Carol. The other day, we just stopped like driving, and I slammed on my brakes. Like, what? Never mind.
In the flat? That was such a great.
But that way, like,
Next month, did you say? Okay.
there was a point.
Well, why don't you?
Yeah.
So I have this. I did sleep.
I mean, the only thing
I
that
had a dream.
probably still worried about is
This whole thing was happening.
like selection math. So you can go online like
And they were just like, what? Like, you know, they were just like disrupting it. And I'm like, what do you guys do?
I think you asked, you said, why you doing?
So they just like took over the whole thing. It was all inside.
And then they said you could. Otherwise, you do it at the airport in Paris when you arrive. And it's really great. I thought there was like 3 planes in each of us. It's great. You have to do it at the pharmacy. It's expensive. Or the preferred, maybe it's wrong. I don't know. And hopefully they will have like there was no access to it without back and forth. Otherwise, you need to get the test every 5 minutes, which is easy in France. You have to pay, but every street corner you can, shove something up your
It was
nose.
partly a work thing, but I think it was mostly just,
That's
well,
the
she's
thing.
You should check about
really bad night.
Oh, she not clear.
See if it leads to all the stress and anxiety of very good.
You should check on
Yeah, make sure you don't have that surprise
because it's an app you download.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Not to mention $1,000 or something.
Depending on when you got the ticket, yeah.
Yeah, so that's one thing. Make sure
Yeah, well, she was on the flight. I'm gonna get some more food. Yeah, I mean, everything.
And it's going to change. I mean, now it's a good time because like we are in dip of, but it's going to go back up, sooner than we hoped. So, and it's amazing the management to make that worldwide. Each country has their own system. I mean, if you have, like, to go outside of the airport in Paris, you exit, and then you go back like go back to the US. There's a pharmacy right at the departure. So you go back up like going back to the US. There is a pharmacy and it's like €25 and no one's selling. It's free for the French, like for one for here. But even the test is free. For us, we have to pay. For the French, it's easy. Oh no, it's the test and the €25 over the past.
I did. You know that's why you invited me. Oh. Busy trees. So watch basically.
Okay, well, I don't have a lot. I was a little nervous too.
But Terry, you shouldn't start to cover a couple of music kind of LA. Some of the non-major museums that are really good.
Yeah, there is. Otherwise, there is there is
Oh yeah.
it's called Louis Vuitton Foundation, even though it's not paid by the
It's a new and the building's
the building is beautiful. It's in the one good eye. It's right outside of Paris, but somewhere nearby. Also, Louis Vuitton, actually, yes.
Yeah.
And still coming up with a great exhibition. We were in Paris 2 days, and I was like,
Really most of the time, but the permanent collection there has stuff just really big contemporary. I'm not a big contemporary artist, but just big, massive installation.
yeah, they have the room for big stuff. Yeah, even the architecture is really good. And the one good eye, so it's such a nice day. It's great to
You
actually
can get the tickets online in advance.
everything now you need to get it. That's a weird thing about later years. Now
We
it's
did,
okay
didn't
because
we did that. We had our connection with the lines.
Well, if you ask Carrie, well, because I call and I have friends who tell me go this and that, so
Oh, the Museum of Rome.
this is the last one.
And it's right near the movie screen, so it's on the north.
Yeah, and it was like in also the hotel particulier that it's very rich guy that built for his mistress.
And not something you can 8 hours.
No,
I feel like you didn't see it.
the exhibitions are they can be fun. They can be fun, and otherwise there is a little garden and a cafe, and it's very backyard French romantic. It's like it's there for how Oh yeah, that was nice. Yeah, mais c'est de la romantique, yeah. That's how we thought you'll find that city. That's amazing.
And the architecture is modern. It's like the Sydney Opera.
Yeah, or if you have an email, find out.
Sentimental. Very sentimental guy. He just doesn't talk that way.
There's a lot of recipes that I couldn't think of.
What's your essay?
Yeah. It was long before they ever got friends and got his pictures.
I remember you and John had a rocky relationship.
Oh, we did. I told Gabriel about it recently. And this was before the whole stuff that and an event partner I went off on she's my baby sister. Whatever.
Yeah, after that French group, they go to museums of the States, you know, so they usually they tell me you have to see that. And I remember they told me about them. But so, March, yeah, you should have the new one. Oh my God, January, so that's why I was work. And that's in between like the holidays. Yes, I mean the midweek week, so usually there's nothing. So now there should be something. That's right. Actually, there is one thing we went to was a concert in the Saint Chapelle, which is the chapel in the middle of the Conciergerie, which is like right by the Seine. It's right across from Notre Dame. And built by a tourist, kind of gothic place. Amazing how the windows built in like 11th century, how they did that. And it's very small, intimate, and it's like so you can check.
You'll see concerts advertised as Carolyn, and then it's just something you think in your
But she's still
it may
looking.
not be national world tour.
No, the one we went to, they kind of, it was like, publicité mensongère, such liars.
Yeah.
It was the Carolina Burana.
They said like imagine the Carmina Burana in a 200-seat venue.
Well, it was what they call
music inspired by.
Well, it was the thing of the time I learned something, which was just string instruments. So it was four skinny, violins playing things, and with ancient instruments. First I thought that was so beautiful. I mean, after I got up on my feet,
not expecting the Carmina Burana.
So you go in a better spirit than me, you'll be fine. But that was cute.
Yeah. An amazing space.
It is, yeah. And it's a little bit, it's like the Conciergerie is where Mariam was.
It is. It is. She's asking.
So it's right there downtown, and then I'm not quite
And a few restaurants too. Run to the front of the refrigerator and straight out of the children.
So is
Yes.
you have so you have if you like French 18th century furniture would be quite boring. But there is a little alternative ici in the calendar that looks like a form. Yeah, there we go. So she sent me that picture of the photos. Yeah, it's all George containers, and it's like thousands of deer horns. You know, it is not a joke. It's like you think it's a joke, and it's like what is that? And it's actually yeah, kind of apothecary droguier, not droguier, droguier, like drugs. And I didn't even know it existed. So that's see two text white. So it's two forms here, but also that's the order of the pharmacy. So that could be, and it could also be the kind of little museums that open when the national museums are closed. When the national museums are closed on Tuesday, so Tuesdays you need to present.
Oh, she meant out loud. I thought she meant
It's like Frank hasn't been. Are you serious about that?
It's the Petit Palais without you right across from the Palais. So it was one of those buildings built for one of the world's richest so big, useless, fabulous place. And they often have interesting exhibitions. And it's like the Petit Palais, I think, is open.
And you know, I mean,
you have so many houses to see. It's the perspective
and boy, that's
we've done it's amazing.
well, I know actually I was to Rio. I like it.
I really like them because
Yes. What did you want to be the captain of the train? No. This is a million. There was one with Helen Mirren that was the later years, and she was even the time. And there was another one that there's they kind of did a lot of just to be sexy. Yeah. So are you getting media requests? Wasn't there a guy, I don't know who really started this, yeah, she's done fun stuff. I buy them subscriptions. And it's really all first of all, I think they asked me some feedback from figures and my boss was like, and suddenly I'm paying over, I said.
Oh, really? Just get a bank account with the bank.
There is when you have a tower, you should buy like a weekend stuff. There are sites made by pictures of different stores in Paris. So I would try to visit it, and you
Find out that's for 6 months. Nobody can explain why the prices are so anyway. But they're big.
Eating to do your best job. No, I think I am living it.
You have time strolling back. So I don't know how the book is organized, if it's by neighborhood or something. It's like push that door, passion readings. I mean, it's like it's all
I mean, I could call out on it, but then you get way too. Or it is. I just gotta move on. I've already put it on. So I guess I should check.
But you know, she developed this neurosis where she's always been great about traveling her car. She still is. But last time, Carrie has to bring her out the Carrie said, you know, I never thought I'd end up being
right, especially considering COVID and on the down low for a while.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, I know it's just
Let's see, leaving at 5:30.
Yeah, you used to get on the
I can drive it.
They still can't do it. Yeah. Like, he's now afraid to call himself, so he's outsourced all the phone calls to his wife. Yeah, who calls and has the same kind of conversation with me every time. Oh, what are your plans today? Oh, are you going to take Izzy for a Is that all you got?
Yeah, would you like to come along and FaceTime?
They don't know what that is.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Say hi to good times.
Yeah, you will. Yeah.
I know it's nice to have a camera, but we're afraid to look at it. Yeah.
Safe drive.
One, two hasn't happened in a long time. Make an impression.
And then one of them, 4 hours. And then so she's down one day with
Izzy goes,
There's a fire pit.
6:45, pouring in there. And it just brought it through. We're like, oh, okay, well, this is the best. We got that.
I think they have no classes.
I have a log of March days of Facebook. This many of them. I tried to write this down. The girl cat that I was referring to texted me.
18 months prior, we already spent like 6,000 replacing it.
She was wild.
You have a doggy version of that?
Everybody's hanging out, so like if someone says, oh no, I can't be there, what's up with you? You have no other life. Carrie always says you have this she would always get opportunities that the rest of us were amazing. Like, what's one of the teachers was also an ex-day acting teacher who was hired to be in this national tour. I like it. Franklin Jones tour with Carrie has been vampires. Like, not even but, you know, she just was like, so
yeah, it just very
flying off. Oh, well, she did the voice work. Yeah, she played this. Irish princess. But she also did some stuff. I think they were called through the international tip.
I mean, right. But I mean, that's one because so I'm a brother-in-law with Sam. But there's this picture in which we have a yearbook of her on stage in the drama department and all that. And that's just my connection to her is that vision. So when you say the theater part, oh, that goes way
And then at the last minute, they were like, whatever. Okay, fine. Yeah. I know.
Okay. And the one of all was right underneath. So just okay about kicking around too much.
Oh, I saw that.
Some tables are in the square now. Coming in from
There's two people still connected. They're actually watching.
We'll always have Sandy.
Well, thank you for I love meeting her dog friends and
I'll do and I went back later.
Welcome to Bishop. You'll probably have the cameras for the Bishop.
Oh, you are. Well, that's great. We should brought some people.
Don't see you in the middle of nowhere.
We have the very
I've not heard anybody else say that.
I was just talking
I can check in and
you can multitask. Want to get rid of this?
this is a nice song. This is a nice song.
Where did he go?
he actually said
You know why he likes that hospital? So we stayed it on and off, and it was just kind of a typical story of I'm ready to go on, you're ready, I'm not another relationship. There's a time where we got married.
Come on, Izzy.
Then we're here.
There you go. Back to San Francisco tomorrow. Yeah.
And we had to do it, online thing. Right, actually, wedding actually. Yeah. Because you guys are coming as well. Oh my God.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My mom really just about time to do that. She's 86 and she still lives in her 2-bedroom apartment in the independent living section. Somebody that has assisted living is residing there, but she has. She's got these two gals that Victor is living with her. I mean, they're professionals, and it's great to me. And my mom is in a very sort of pleasant state of mind. So no paranoid. So it's working out. But she's getting to the point where she'll probably need something.
Oh, okay. Well,
Slowly in that apartment, which is why we left her there. Where I can't imagine something like that.
I will see you all soon. Yeah, I did. He left. Yeah, I don't know. He was only here for. He left the dog out of his face.
When my brother and I had my mother's leftovers, she's like, I forgot to get, would you please? No, no. No worries.
They would tell me that personalities of all of the
So I got
sons.
to get Kleenex, so at the last one, I'm calling my phone.
What are you
Lots of
doing?
personality.
The phone? Yes, you're right. That's hard. Yeah. I like your earrings. You're right. Your earrings. My first earrings. Well, for my second Tiger hair, I lost it in my mask off.
Oh, okay.
And then before it was supposed to be the end of the
Yeah. Drop that. Did you see Amanda's earrings? The puffin earrings? She's got
Oh,
puffin
I
earrings.
did. Yeah. Where are you? Oh, okay. Yeah. Did you? Someone else
Yeah.
Well, I know Carrie drove it. You know, yeah, she did. So you drove with her. St. George is in Utah. Yeah. So you probably stay there overnight and move on. Or however it's supposed to work out. I'm very grateful.
I wanted to bust in and say hello. A quick hug and run.
From what I've seen, and he's just, and it's really weird because Kate is a really loving, but there's
Yeah, I realize.
he's like Chris, and there's this
Well,
immediate distance that
I did it. And I never figured out what I mean, without Carrie, I would not.
Can we go to happy hour? Yeah.
Was always an experience. At least you get friends.
really.
Got to hang out a little bit. It wasn't just Carrie's gift, but you had to take part that I gave her. And it was just nice to see her. I don't know who you're still in touch with.
Yeah, Lacey has been doing the Utah. Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, but they remember that age, you know, looking at everything, touching everything. And,
Well, he told me that when Izzy was a pup and learning to be on leash, they recommended this under the chest leash because if the dog tries to pull away, it turns them back towards you. Whereas if it's on their neck, they just keep it pulling. Yeah.
So they're like, tuck it sits in the front where they're trying to pull it, so you're actually controlling. Oh, you know that was near them. They would. But you're often little.
I was gonna say she would probably have a grown-up leash.
I generally there. A little more power, so I know the front lead hard.
Mine stays close to me off leash. She's on the leash. She's like I don't know, such vulnerability. But if I let her off, she's like very shallow. I lose track of her is because she's right behind me.
We go fast, right? Even though it all takes their but they're usually they're walk along. Didn't be on the leash too much. That happened, especially kids.
Yes. She's a little bit smaller than this one. She's a part Chihuahua, part rat terrier. I got her. She was about 12 years old. So totally trained.
No, that's great. That's a good feature.
Totally, she was totally.
I was showing you that. Hi, Carrie.
So I do remember kind of the beginnings of like, oh, this is Southern California, you know.
They're on my. Oh, keeping in the line. Yeah, that's why yeah, they are. Yeah. Yeah.
How much do they come from you asking for you?
Yeah, just met him a couple times.
Entertaining them or giving them stuff to you, or how are you kind of
Involved with the roommate. Like, oh my God, we were playing games. All the like categories, with your picture categories. And so we would always Carrie
Now you're like,
get a wild card. Women. And then they would be like Japanese or
because there was one that said,
Carrie. I was like, oh, I was sitting waiting to come and take you. And she, Lisa Grace, straight, separating their eyelashes, separating their scary.
Yeah, to me, that's the opposite of that.
No, she had products. She told me products I didn't
I just went back to work after like a night.
Oh, gosh. Right, like,
And you know,
fabulousness, right?
They buy into that idea.
Well, he used to be, right, yeah, the other two were big.
Talk about having that hierarchical environment, but then when something goes wrong, she goes
She's licking the beer. That's right.
Some of them respond.
Yeah, it's really nice. But anyway, so
I left the truck running to heat it up and melt all the snow. And I came back and from one side of my windshield all the way to the there was already a rock in it, and when the windshield on the inside, when the heat was running, the inside heats up faster than the outside, and so it expands.
Where are you going? You might. I was looking to see if it's
I lost a little black purse with
Oh.
a strap.
Yeah, like small, like
Yeah.
this size. Where did I see it?
It's like a.
It's a little black, like orange. No, no.
It's bigger. It like holds my phone. And it's got a strap. So we did have some. That's not that it's. I don't know.
There's a bag that share there.
Actually, should come over to the house and podcast.
There's stuff up on my plate.
I am good, actually.
weird.
You know where my little bag is? Bag.
No, I saw your phone on that table over there where we ate.
Yeah.
Your little phone bag. You want me to help you hunt?
Not yet. What is it? Just a little black. Is it a big strap or
Yeah, that was nice.
Robin, I'm Joe.
It's recorded.
You did such a great job.
Georgia.
Yeah, we can shut it off.
Yeah, I got 4 people finishing. Yeah. I love the story, and it's just so magical and fascinating. So if you all are watching, I'm going to go ahead and shut down the live stream now. Thank you for coming. Just seeing how many people are here and hearing the history from decades ago. That, you know, you go back decades, and so it was great. You all did such a great job. The entire collection. I just thought every bit of the marks.